The session is live on YouTube.
A very good evening to one and all. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you to the final day of our one-week faculty development program on reimagining English language teaching, digital innovation, AI, and future-ready practices. A warm welcome to Dr. Priyadarshini ma'am, HOD English, Dr. K. Lakshminarayan sir, HOD HNS, and Dr. Sarppa Raje ma'am, our expert speaker. Over the past 5 days, we have embarked on an enriching journey of learning, reflection, and collaboration. Together, we have explored how digital technologies, artificial intelligence, and innovative pedagogical practices are transforming the landscape of English language teaching. The enthusiastic participation, insightful discussions, and willingness to embrace new ideas have truly made this FTP a memorable and meaningful learning experience. As we gather today for the concluding session, we look forward to yet another engaging interaction with our distinguished resource person whose expertise and insights will undoubtedly inspire us to continue reimagining our classrooms and research practices for the future. Before we begin the erudition, there is an important announcement to make. Please note that the participants will receive their certificates by 17 July 2026, given their attendance parameters of 80%. Also, a sincere request to my fellow academicians, please keep your devices muted during the session to avoid disturbances and any further delays. Now, it is time we knew about our today's resource person. It is my privilege to introduce Dr. M. Sarppa Raje, ma'am, Assistant Professor in Department of English at Tyagaraja College of Engineering, Madurai. With over 14 years of distinguished experience in teaching, research, and academic innovation, she has established herself as a leading educator in the fields of English language teaching, technology enabled pedagogy, communication skills, AI-assisted research writing, and employability skills. Dr. Sarppa Raje served as the principal investigator of a prestigious British Council-funded ELTRMS research project, which is titled as Using Flipped Classroom Approach to Enhance Communicative Competency of Engineering College Students, which was successfully completed with a grant of rupees 2.18 lakhs. Her work reflects a strong commitment to transforming language education through innovative and learner-centric pedagogies. An accomplished researcher, she has an impressive publication record comprising 58 scholarly publications, including over 25 journal articles, 28 conference papers, 2 co-authored books, and several book chapters. Her research has been published in reputed Scopus indexed journals with significant contributions in flipped learning, gamification, blended learning, engineering English, AI integrated pedagogy, and technology enhanced language education. It is an honor to have Dr. Sarppa Raje on the virtual stage. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Shrivani, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. May I start my PPT presentation sharing, ma'am?
Sure, ma'am. I think you have been sent a link as a host.
No. Not yet.
Yeah.
Host has disabled attendee screen sharing. So now I think I should...
Just now I have shared it, madam.
Okay. I think my slide is visible, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good evening, dear hosts of this learned scholars, participants. I'm hearing a disturbance.
I request the participants.
Okay. Hello all. Welcome to the 5th day of my particular session called Rethinking Assessment in the Age of AI. As you have traversed through this 5-day journey of knowing what are the classroom engagement techniques for effective language learning classes. That's what the first day session was about. And moving on to, you had a very interesting session of how to integrate AI and this transformative digital tools in the classrooms of English language teaching. And moving on, you also knew about what are the contemporary trends in the disruptive AI technology classrooms of today. And now, for the past 2 days, you have been knowing about what are the assessment techniques, what are the assessment tools that could help us to evolve our language classrooms to the current generation of Gen Z students. So here I am today with moderating you further towards how innovatively assessment techniques can be introduced in our classes so that the language component of today's learners can be taken to the next level of expectation. Because as you know, industry standards are high today. In order to match the industry standards amidst the AI tools usage, learners have to develop altogether a different ball game. Language learning nowadays have taken to be an altogether different ball game. So how to survive that industrial requirements and how to prove themselves as effective language speakers, today's learners have to be given a different kind of techniques, pedagogies, and obviously an assessment part. That's what we are going to understand out of today's session. So as the time is very, very less, let me take you towards the slight components where I have actually reflected on my own research journey of experimenting with different AI pedagogies, different AI assessment patterns. So I'm not going to make my session theoretical, but I'm going to make it very much pragmatic reflecting about the research experience that I have done with all those things. So I'll take you to the different components of my PPT, provided the last 10 minutes, I think we can reserve for Q&A session. And more of the questions, if at all you may have, I'm always available for further discussions and collaborations even. So now my session is going to be on these four different components. The first component will make you understand how the assessment landscape is evolving over the years with the disruptive AI technology barging in, and then we'll lay the foundations for how AI can influence our classrooms in modes of gamification, video tools, how flipped learning can make a difference in our classrooms, and in all these technological enabled classrooms also, how social emotional learning can be a component. Very important point I'm making you here is, in a technology enabled classroom, I think you all can see where my mouse pointer is moving. This is towards SEL in the sense how social emotional learning component also can be brought in even in the technology enabled classroom. That is also going to be a part of my discussion. And then moving on to part 3, we are going to understand, maybe in all those 4 days also you have been introduced to various tools, how they can be implemented, but then this is not about discussing those tools and their usage guides, whereas this is about what are the limitations, otherwise what are the bright side of using those tools. So pragmatically, that's what very important. And then future perspectives. Already we are going through the sweeping changes that are happening in our language classrooms, but also have to anticipate whatever the future changes are going to be. That also we'll have a touch upon. So moving on to my first part, that is what is happening in the assessment landscape today, and why we need to rethink assessment in language teaching classrooms. Why? In the sense, always traditional classrooms have been one time high stakes tests. What do I mean by high stakes test? In the sense, yeah, learners are with us for a semester, 90 days to 100 days, but then they are giving a summative test assessment which is for the highest stake of 100 percentage of marks. So it is conducted one time, and the major stake is given for one particular evaluation schema, and their knowledge is tested. So this is not a welcomeable situation where continuous assessment is expected. Their progressive nature of language development is expected to be assessed in a day like this, whereas in a traditional assessment, as I earlier said, it is a one time assessment, and also it involves high stakes. So if a student is not able to perform in that one time test, his grades are getting lower, but that doesn't stand an actual testimony of his real ability as far as his language ability is concerned. Then the traditional assessment is nothing but a test of his ability to recall the information, whereas his other skills are unable to be tested. So that is what the scope of the traditional assessment. And whereas the voice of the learners are not at all heard through traditional assessment, because as you might have experienced, some students are very well versed in writing, but then in these days when it comes to business kind of things where presentations are involved, meeting clients are involved, their social skills are involved, their ability to grasp an idea is involved, their ability to involve in analytical skills are involved. All these skills are not only assessed through written kind of exams. Sometimes they may not write well, but they can do well in their speaking ability, whereas in a traditional pattern of assessment where those voices are heard. So think about it. And then feedback. This is a major drawback, I would say, in any traditional assessment, where we don't have time. Otherwise, The feedback mechanism is not at all accommodated in our lesson plan, or after the results we don't need them. We can't discuss elaborately about where they might have uh, gone right, or where they have scope for improvement. So that feedback is a very big that feedback the lack of feedback is a very big drawback that we could actually observe in a traditional assessment. So now why the framework has to be revised in the sense, it shouldn't be a one time high stake assessment. It is good if your institution has a system like this, formative and summative. Maybe the gradation may differ. For example, in our institution, formative assessment, that is continuous assessment, and summative is the end semester, that's one time comparatively high stake assessment, but then not the entire weightage is given for the summative assessment, because formative assessment takes 40% of the overall weightage, and summative bears the rest of the 60%. Maybe next regulations they are aiming for 50-50, because what the system believes is their ability to perform consistently matters more than their ability to translate those things in one fine day. So what happens in formative is where we introduce this disruptive AI tools, or technology assisted feedback mechanism, or evaluation pattern. This is where my major discussion uh, will be around. Summative is all the time we are doing, because that, as you all know, it's an end semester exams, it has final scores, it has final grades. It is a measure of the outcomes that we have done to them throughout the semester. But as I told you, there is no room for feedback, or there is no space for revision of mistakes students have done. Whereas, look at this importance. This is the important slide number 1. I have some 40 slides, but then I would tell you there are 3 to 5 slides which inform you the most important ideas. For example, this slide is a crux of all the information that I'm going to tell you. If you have traditional assessment so far, if your institution is not at accommodative enough to encourage you to conduct formative and summative tests, this is the time you have to tell them back. It is not one time high stakes which will never be valid among Gen Z students. So introduce formative assessments. That's what the first message of my presentation, and this slide gives you the crux of it. But how formative assessment has to be done, where AI has a place, when not AI can be a part, how it needs to be implemented, and how not it is to be distributed in our lesson plan. Everything we'll discuss in detail in due course of my session. So to give you an important message about formative is, it needn't be a high stake evaluation pattern. The activities that we give for formative, the assessments that we evaluate for this formative, can have only low stakes gradation. Low stakes in the sense, say for example, it can be lesser, like that of 5 marks to 10 marks. I would suggest your formative test should not go beyond 20 marks. 20 marks itself is a maximum gradation that you can think of for a formative. So formative is always a low stakes assessment, and it is conducted within the classroom, and it always has a room for feedback. If you are missing out this feedback in your formative assessment, that won't be effective. So formative is always low stakes, one thing. Formative is always coupled with feedback, and formative is in the instruction itself. You don't find separate time. Many teachers would barge in and ask me a question. Already I'm running short of time to discuss the lesson itself. Then where can I conduct test? I have to assign them, I have to set a question paper. See, it is not a process. So it should be integrated in the instruction time itself. Say for instance, for us, a classroom is of 50 minutes, so 40 minutes for lecture and 10 minutes. So it is as easy as that. What are the timeline involved in it, how it is possible to conduct a low stake assessment, even if it is a low stake assessment, how it can be accommodated within the 10 minutes of time frame, everything we'll discuss elaborately. Though it is a 10 minutes of time frame just for making the students take up the test, but a background work must be higher for the teachers. I don't deny it, background work must be higher, but then for making them take up that test is a matter of 10 minutes. So it is very well accommodated in the instruction hour itself. And then also you have to accommodate time frame for uh, getting the feedback from students. This is the feedback where as a learner you need to tell them where they lack, but learner reflection is they are going to tell us back what is the right component that we have assessed in them, or do they need any revision, or how do they see that test that we have conducted so far. So the feedback can be very well from both the learners as well as from the teachers, and how it can be once again accommodated within the allotted time itself. Everything will see in detail pragmatically, not as a theory. That is what the brightest thing I have incorporated in the slides to come. Maybe you can also ask questions if at all you have reserved it towards the end, because I have applied everything. So based on my experience, I would answer you. Now, why we have to think about integrating AI as a pedagogical tool or as an assessment tool today? Because the other points, definitely I would leave my slides to the coordinators. You can always get that and read the other important details in my slide. But the very important detail of this particular slide is your learners, our Gen Z kids, are already using a lot of AI tools outside this class. So if not today that we integrate the positive use of AI tools for either as a pedagogical tool or as an assessment tool today to the learners, they are not connected to us for anything, of course, because knowledge aspect is also enriched in those tools. If we conduct assessment out of AI tools, they don't trust us all the times, basically. So to build that trust factor, a teacher must have among the students, and to keep in touch with the Gen Z learners, definitely it is high time that we start understanding AI tools benefits, and without questioning much about is it crossing, is it over dependence and all. Of course we'll discuss where is the limitation, and when it becomes an over dependence, we have to start implementing things. Definitely many teachers now have a question. I understand that it is important, but I do not know where to begin. Please listen closely to the subsequent slides, because you will understand a lot about where to start exactly. Now, if you ask about, if you still worry about AI has a lot of drawbacks, AI has a lot of limitations, already it is taking away my job, already it is taking most of our times, it is good for nothing. If you have all those things in mind, please listen to the slide. AI as a competency checker, AI as a helpful tool to assess the learner's real competence is what suggested in National Education Policy 2020 itself. Now it is 2026 already. So think of the timeline. NEP 2020 is already in practice. It is high time that you think about the holistic development among students instead of testing that one time high stake test where majority of the memorizing skills are tested, whereas the real abilities are not at all, are not involved in the scope of the testing mechanism. Then about outcome based education, if your institution accommodates this OBE pattern in its academic curriculum framework, then it is mandatory that you try to practice these AI tools as a pedagogy or as an assessment tool. And then if you are a teacher from an institutional background, AICT norms itself, increasingly stress the importance of, making your students do a collaborative work rather than an individual customized end semester examination component alone. So all these will give you the importance of why assessment pattern has to be reformed in an age of AI. Now I have entered my part two, regarding how, my journey has helped in, giving you some information regarding what are the innovations in assessment that we can do in today's classroom. The first of my experience began with first of my technological experience began with making them do a simulation task, that is, I think it's an app called, I think this app is no longer in practice now, because why I consciously avoid introducing you to AI tools, just naming a few tools in the sense, today there is one tool, tomorrow it is going to be another tool. So there is no end to technological transformation these days. We are in transition era, right? Today there is one ChatGPT, tomorrow is going to be one other platform that is going to do excellent things than what ChatGPT is capable of. So I'll never mention the tool on which these things are done, because those tools are worn out these days. That is the very brief idea I'm instilling in your mind. So the tool can be anything, the application can be anything, but the idea will constantly remain ever. For example, my research started way back in 2018 regarding flipped learning techniques to be incorporated in English language teaching classes to really enhance the communicative competence among students. Still today, it has been a worthy component. But those days, the mode in which I conducted flipped learning were absolutely of no use these days. So the ways and mechanisms are always dynamic. They keep changing in this transformative era, but the outcome or the objective both would remain the same. If you really want the technology to be implemented in the classes, it can always be done, but based on the recent tools that you otherwise, when you talk about an obsolete tool to your students, they will really question, is it of really practical benefit now? So when you have a mindset to conduct simulation activities to your students, today you just refer the tools that are used for simulation. There I used Second Life, where we can program a particular conversation or a situational conversation prompt to it, and it asks question. For example, if I give that platform, come on, take up the role of a conductor and ask now the client where he is going, and enable him to take tickets for the journey. This was simple prompt I can set in that application. It mimics the role of the conductor, like where you are going, how much change the passenger is expected to give. Simple, powerful conversations, but the computer is making the conversation, and it is very adaptive to the participants' conversation, and it gives a constructive feedback at the end. Where have they gone wrong, or where do they need improvement? All these things that platform is able to provide, but the teacher is the ultimate control, which kind of prompts to be given, which kind of conversation situation has to be fed into the systems. That is where my role existed, and outcome was fabulous than we normally do in a classroom, where we assign a group of students and one takes up the role, and then they want more time, otherwise they clumsily do certain things, right? But this is one time process, but highly effective. The student even wants more of it. And then gamification. what this gamification, it can be either with a tool or without a tool, but with a tool it is going to be more effective. And if at all you are well versed in conducting this to the students, but you think that the workload that you do for conducting this gamification is more, you can actually find some of the student participants who are very active, who could help you out with the load. So team A conducts the game for team B conducts for team C. So it can be it can be done in circular way. Otherwise, I actually ask my students, first benches, second row, third column, they have their own team names. So first team has to conduct jammy, the second team has to conduct quiz, likewise. So if you're really in for this formative kind of assessment, so which team has conducted the task so well, which has conducted the more innovative task, which team has conducted an effective language game for other teams, they can be given some low stake preference. For example, if there are 20 members in the group, give them 5 to 10 marks depending upon their role of participation. And then flipped classroom, this is where I started my as I earlier told you, my research journey. Definitely by this time many of you would have known what flipped learning is. If you don't know, I'll brief it. Flipped learning is nothing but reversal of what happens in classroom will happen outside the classroom, and what usually happens outside the classroom is flipped to the classroom practice. So what usually happens in a classroom is a lecture that is taken outside the classroom, because there are more number of resources for a teacher. But personally, as a student, a student really loves the lectures of his or her own teacher. So you videotape, or you even voice out whatever the handouts you would like to customize for your students, you do that, but you post it outside the classroom. Say for instance, you have a WhatsApp group with your students, post that learning material either as a video of you, or your own hand prepared material. You just give to the students, ask them to read out that material, ask them to take a cognitive load of understanding that. So when they come for the classes, just give them a 1 minute recap of what material you gave to them. But in the classroom, you conduct once again a low stakes quiz to them to assess where they have rightly understood, or where particular gray area you need to address regarding how to engage them with the learning material effectively. So this is what my research, and this accommodates so many AI tools in a classroom, both for teaching as well as for testing. And then plickers, maybe some of you would have known more about plickers also. It's a very interesting activity. Maybe low stakes cannot be given for this activity, but learners get major interest when you start using plickers in your classes. And then moving on to 2024, I started asking them to make YouTube video itself regarding the process of doing something technically or technologically. So but when they upload their own videos, I insist them to do some settings, like comments have to be turned off, their own physical appearance needn't be there. So I insisted them to go creative when they make this YouTube videos, so that they also understand the limitations of using the technology as well. I really never encourage my students to become to become over dependent, or to become immersed in the not so bright side of being an influencer like that. The simple what they do in maybe they create a project for their technical subjects. That project they can explain in a video. So they popularize. So many hackathons welcome student videos like that, of that category. So this is what about, it is purely technical, and never bragging about their own personal things. And then Yes, using making them moving on to 2025, where the proliferation of AI tools was much, and students couldn't help copying and pasting from ChatGPT materials, but I gave a license to them to use the AI. But there is a ground rule. What they gave a prompt, what prompt did they give, and what was the AI outcome, and what specific modification. I demanded a big transparency in all these stages, and got their uh, material in all these stages, in all these progressive stages, and I assessed manually where a student creativity goes in, and where AI has corrupted their creativity, or whether it has supplemented their creativity. I manually assess, and that's what this proposal making idea with the help of AI. And then recently, my recent research was on, yes, I have used flip learning and this gamification for many years. I have started making longitudinal research of it. But when you do this technology mediated learning pedagogists, what happens to their social and emotional quotients? That's what this particular paper is about. You won't believe, such technology mediated classrooms have developed students of better social emotional learning capacity citizens. I'll tell you how. Then case study one, this is elaborately how it is done, where it is done, and what are the limitations when you try to implement it in your classrooms. What specific things you have to have in mind. First one is gamified format of lessons. So for your kind information, these journals mostly are these papers mostly are published in Q2 journals. As you all know, in a language research, how Q2 is difficult. Q1, Q2 uh, are highly difficult, and some of the papers are not indexed in Scopus, but they are in well indexed other journals as well. So you can think how research needs to be grounded and all to do this. So I'll take you to the first case study which I done for gamified classes, that too with the specific tool called Plickers. As I told you, if you know Plickers, you by the time you must have understood how interesting Plickers app would be, how Plickers as a tool will engage students greatly inside your class. But using Plickers, how a formative assessment can be done. So Plickers can be very well incorporated before your class, during your class, and after your class. We usually call it pre, during, and post class. Pre class, in order to test their entry level knowledge about a particular lesson. You can directly give them a Flickers assignment, and you can identify, from the average point it generates, what specific area students have already known. And during the class, to check, to have a checkpoint regarding how far they have traveled along with your lecture journey. And then post class, it is very well can combine, it can very well combine what existing knowledge they had already, and what specific developments they have got out of your own material that you provided in the class. So in order to check both these, you can conduct a post class. So in all these three phases, Plickers can help you to understand where your students stand, and how can you help them further to go about it. So if you have not known previously about Plickers, please go for it. I request you to explore Plickers in your classroom at least one time. Then you would know how they are interested enough to attend your classes. Then, as I earlier told you, I made them create a video assignment, what they have to record, and how they have to do it. Do they need to do it individually? Is it a group activity? How feedback as a mechanism can come in, and how the finished product of their video is an exhibition of their higher order thinking skills. I am all taking your attention to this area. uh, when they create a YouTube video, there is no basic skill they are exhibiting. They are actually developing their higher order thinking skills. Um, they don't stop with merely understanding the concept or applying the concept. They are analyzing the concept, then only this video making ability can be developed. So all these are experimented in case study number 2. And then I'm taking your attention to the longitudinal aspect of, I told you already, how social emotional components of the students can be engaged. In the long run of technology mediated classroom, where flipped learning was a part, blended learning was a part, how the self awareness improved, how the self management capacity of students improved, how are they socially aware, and how their relationship skills are enhanced, and how come they turned into a responsible decision makers. For example, we had two kinds of cohorts. One cohort was managed by an out and out a traditional kind of teacher who believes in the concept of end exam assessment, which can be a real testimony to their actual ability of language learning. One who gives writing assignments. This cohort is run by a simply kind of is run simply by those kind of traditional teachers. And the other cohort is maintained by these active learning strategists. Means they blend their classrooms with technology, or they flip their classrooms, they conduct a lot of gamified quizzes. Then the social emotional skills and the ability of the students are tested after 4 to 5 years. This cohort where active learning strategies were involved, those batches had comparatively better level of students who were involved in a lot of national level hackathons, where it is a testimony to stay updated, to stay their team working ability. And there were a lot of competitions, or there were a lot of internships, largely taken by this cohort of students, where active learning strategies were implemented comparatively. I don't mean to say that those students severely lacked all those skills. They also had, maybe it's a self propulsion, but here there was a collective inbuilt interest of the students to naturally participate, whenever such tournaments or events were called for. So seriously taking this account, if you are active learning pedagogists in your classes, your students social emotional learning capacity is also getting higher. That is proven, and that is reflected in a lot of research works. And my work is published in Journal of Engineering Education Transformations. This is what the journal name. It's a Q2 journal, and it is getting a lot of citations recently. Because everywhere in a technical institution, people would have known that a lot of technical skills are expected out of students. All the time they are dumped with this project, viva, and those things. Amidst, how are they expected to socialize? Nowadays students are very much engrossed in their mobile phones, because they are doing this work, that work, watching reels, some productive task, a lot of unproductive tasks. But whereas they don't know who is sitting nearby, they don't know names of many of their classmates. So this is where we have to address. Even after implementing a lot of technology tools in your classrooms, if there is enough importance that you're giving regarding enhancing their social emotional skills also, that is also possible. Technology is one side, but if a teacher mediates it effectively in both teaching and also in assessment, definitely they can build their emotional learning competence also. And then case study number 4, this is yet another advanced level. Previously we just conducted gamification, we just mediated with technology tools, we just blended, and then we flipped. We gave them some tough tasks of watching the lectures outside the classroom and inside the classroom. They were given multitask, and they were tested many a times. And then we moved on to a higher stake of assessing their ability to create a video on their own. Now they are given an awareness of SDG goals, but in order to assess their understanding of that particular thing, we asked them to prepare a comic, as you all can understand, is a children thing. That's what we naturally understand that task to be. But even a student can talk lengthily, or a student can easily write a novel compared to a comic, where picture needs to be there, and segmented kind of limited words, but that has to convey a lot of message. So in order to summarize that information, and that too in the limited set of words, they have to convey a message related to SDG. So all these, superficially it is one task, but there are many scaffolding phases involved. In each and every phase, technology is intervened, and the teacher's moderation is out and out expected, so that well structured comic can be developed by a student or a group of students. This is what the next case study was all about. That too was published in Rupkatha journal on interdisciplinary studies in India. You all know how in India Rupkatha journal is very important. So this particular research was selected as the first article in the publication. Now I'm moving on to the third important component of how AI driven tools can evaluate your students works, and what are the limits and limitations associated with it. When you when you hear the name of AI as an evaluator, then you really worry about your role as a teacher there. Will I be replaced? No, there is no question of replacement at all. A teacher is always a facilitator in a classroom, in a pedagogical aspect, also in an evaluation, right? If you simply make AI tool to evaluate the whole thing, or to teach the whole thing, it is not replacement, it is the misuse of it. Is seriously it is seriously an ethical misuse of AI tool, whereas a teacher is a final arbiter. The slide has major importance, and the very important point here is teacher as a final arbiter. Whether you use that as a pedagogical tool to instruct your kids, or whether you use that as evaluation tool, but ultimately teacher is the final discretionary power, on which both the things are balanced. So that is what this will tell you. And then how there are tools to make your students writing evaluated using an AI tool, and how chatbot can play an important role. I told previously simulation was done through an app, today a chatbot can do. And then how learning analytic dashboards can play an important role. LMS platforms, if you use Moodle or Canvas, it tells them periodically where what their results mean. Then plagiarism and originality checks, this can be very well done by Quillbot, Grammarly, Turnitin in advanced cases. So all these tools are there. It is in the mindful use of the teacher as well as the learner to make this a very successful one. And what are the limitations we earlier had with assessment patterns, and when you use AI intermediate tools, what are the advancements you may have. So as I earlier said, feedback is a very important component in today's scenario. In a traditional classroom, there is little or no time for feedback, whereas in when you use an interface of AI, definitely feedback can be in every moment. And then the scaling is also comparatively consistent and immediate. And in traditional assessment, as we earlier discussed, it is mostly written, but here assessment can happen even via exercises like making videos, making comics, making dialogue, making digital portfolios. And then what is the final evidence of their knowledge outcome? There in a traditional assessment was their final answer only. That's one time high stakes. But here it is a process, continuous process. It's their ability to draft, their ability to revisit, their ability to revise. Everything has got a gradation. So what are the risks to manage in the traditional assessment is memorization can play a role, whereas not an actual ability to perform. But here the problem is over reliance. Slowly they cannot stand alone without the use of AI tools. They'll think of what next AI tools are coming up. They repeatedly aim for it, and then this one we have already seen. This is what, when you start using AI tool, it is a continuous loop. You give them exercise, you are finding an appropriate AI tool to be given to the students to complete that. Then you do both your reflection and their reflection, and then your feedback, and then they again incorporate your feedback, their peers feedback, and they resubmit their assignment. So this is an endless loop with which evaluation can very well be done, not a one time thing. So what are the challenges? We have already touched upon that. But then equity gap, suppose if your students are still in digital divide, definitely that there will be an equity gap, and teacher oversights can become a role too. Suppose you are good at using AI tools, that's not necessarily be the case with your students. Otherwise, vice versa, if your students are good at but you are learning things, that can also be a potential threat. So these are, so when you introduce AI tools, transparency, that's very important. Fairness in using it, accountability, whether you and your learners are equally accountable to use it in a proper way, that becomes attribution. So the workload that distinguishes learner content to AS, that should be also be there. And these are known things, that's why I'm skipping. What are the future perspectives? This is very, very important. In the future, not one lesson fits all, one size fits all classes wouldn't exist, where you need to, this is what very important, this is what a future classroom will be. You diagnose, when they come to the classroom, you assess their ability and customize their lesson plan. That is no common syllabus, that there is no common syllabus going. This is future perspective. And you monitor, or the lesson plans are customized as per an individual learner need. And you also certify, you who have the potential, you don't need to depend on a system, you don't need to depend on your institution common framework, whereas you are the ultimate authority to certify your learners that that student is particularly capable of doing these things, and what are the skills he or she needs to improve further. So these are what the future classrooms that have for us now. Yeah, these things I repeatedly insisted in my session. Now I am going to give, these are my research works where I took the reference from. Now I'm stopping with this slide where I have a few questions to you. Have you ever conducted a low stake formative assessment to you, and what did you observe from it? And what is one task or what is one assignment after listening to this session where you feel like introducing an AI for what assignment, especially what assignment, and how you are going to use it, and how will you explain your AI usage policy in one sentence? So I am out of my PPT to your chat boxes so that I can get questions.
Madam?
I am audible. I'm listening to you, ma'am.
Yeah, is it, are you still continuing with your discussion, or shall we?
I'm waiting for Q&A. I have
Yeah,
asked a
yeah,
few questions.
yeah, I'll invest. The participants are requested to post their queries in the chat box, or you can just ask your questions, because learning is more effective when curiosity is nurtured through active participation. Any questions from your side is
Exactly
appreciated.
10 more minutes. That's why I am accommodating participant questions for this
Yeah,
10
yeah.
minutes.
Yeah, I request the participants to ask any questions.
They can unmute and talk, madam.
Yeah, please. Yeah, they will do it, ma'am.
There can be two occasions where questions are not possible. One is you entirely understand the thing, you're crystal clear about it. Otherwise, second thing is you don't understand anything, so you don't have a question. Which way I have to infer this?
No, I think there is a technical glitch. I guess so. Let me check, ma'am, because the host has some technical glitch. He has made you the co-host.
Excuse
But
Maybe
me.
the
yes,
host, the
because I
main
don't
host
see
has
the
a
chat.
technical glitch there, so he's out of the Zoom this thing. So I guess the participants also have the same problem. I'll just check with that and let you know. In the meantime, the participants can pose their questions in the YouTube chat box.
Good
Otherwise,
evening,
I
ma'am.
have a question to the
Yeah, ma'am,
participant,
there's one
which
question
is
coming up.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for that very insightful session. I was just wondering, like I teach UG students in a college. When it comes to assessment, teachers are bound to a system with a framework which has been designed by the Board of Studies of the universities. So, in the way that you were presenting things wherein you need to incorporate AI tools and other experiments to be done on assessment, my question is, does the teacher in our system have the liberty to use these tools? Because we are bound to a system wherein the framework is designed by somebody else and we
Yes.
have to blindly follow that system. And teacher, as far as my knowledge goes, does not have the freedom to experiment things. So what is your take on it, ma'am?
Okay. Maybe if your institution doesn't allow you, but you have a lesson plan, right? In
Okay,
that,
right.
in your teaching pedagogy, you can incorporate those tools and mechanisms.
Okay,
Maybe
fine.
not with assessment. Maybe end assessment, your role cannot be there due to your institutional constraints or your framework constraints. But while teaching, nobody is stopping you, right?
Right, right. Very true.
Yeah. So when your pedagogy accommodates technological intervention that gives them immediate feedback, definitely students can reflect the learning in their end exam. So automatically it becomes refined.
Fine, fine. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you for that question, sir.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the participants? Dear participants, we appreciate, we welcome more questions from your side.
Madam,
I
good
have a
evening.
question to the participants. If they don't have a question
No,
to
they
me.
do have,
I
ma'am.
have a
They are
question,
coming up.
ma'am.
They are coming up. Yes, ma'am.
Madam,
Please come. Gomati,
good
ma'am.
evening. Ma'am, actually, as you mentioned regarding AI assessment for writing skill alone, is there any formative assessment for speaking activity to be done in the classroom?
Good question. There are a lot of formative assessments on speaking, ma'am. For example, just a minute, I earlier told you. Just a minute. You give them. Otherwise, if your learners are particularly having anxiety, don't test them with random kind of topics. Whereas already informed that they can expect topics from classroom kind of things.
Okay.
Otherwise technology kind of tools, so prepare them mentally anything.
Okay.
And then if it is about classroom situations, even give eraser pen kind of topic, and on which they have to deliver their ideas about that tool for a minute.
Minute. Okay. Okay.
So that is in their cognitive level. If they are tuned towards these kind of everyday objects, then they can talk about big level things also later. Comes
Okay.
with practice. So
Sure.
for speaking only, there are a lot of formative assessments that can be effectively conducted, ma'am.
Okay.
Ask
Okay.
them to say a news that they read recently.
Okay.
Do a fact check about what they are talking, and insist them to do a fact check before they believe in any news for that matter. So all these things you can accommodate in a speaking kind of formative assessment. Or simply a picture description. Show them any picture. It can be the first picture that they have in their mobile, on which they have to talk for a minute. You actually can enjoy this task like anything.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
May
There
I
is
ask
no
a question, ma'am?
creativity of formative assessment as far as speaking ability is concerned, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
May I ask a question, ma'am?
I am waiting, ma'am.
Am I audible?
You are.
Yes. Ma'am, I've been into teaching for the last 34 years. And more or less, I've been using traditional methods, you know. And
Yes.
now I'm a bit scared to use the AI tools and the modern concept of education, all this. I mean, it's really very frightening to me. I'm scared. So I just wanted to ask a question, how to overcome this fear of mine.
Madam, first of all, be proud of yourself. You have been already doing an excellent job.
Thank you, ma'am.
That expertise will always be translated in this new task also.
Okay.
You know very well that change is always constant, but from
Yes.
your experience you can easily translate your skills to this new venture, and you will rock in that, ma'am. Just begin. That's
Thank
what.
you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'll do that. I'll do that.
Ma'am. One day you will take the session. I'll attend it.
Thank you so much. I'm
Only
highly
beginning
encouraged.
matters. Only beginning matters.
Okay.
That's a good start for asking questions. Any more questions? Any more questions? One moment, ma'am. I'll just check with the chat box.
That's okay, ma'am. Time is also running up.
Yeah,
Maybe
that's true.
validity is involved. Already they have been in race for 4 days. I am now compelling them to ask questions. I know how mind-blogging it would be.
That's true. Yeah, as we come to the end of this session.
So can I shine off?
No, ma'am. Please wait. As we come to the end of this session, it is my pleasure to invite our HOD of Department of English, Dr. Priyarshini ma'am, to deliver the vote of thanks. And before that, I request all the Zoom participants to keep their videos on so that we can have a screenshot, because that would be a trophy to our FDP. I request all the Zoom participants to turn on their cameras. Dear participants, please turn on your cameras. Just a moment. Dipali Sharma, Dr. R. Priya, Swarna K, Dr. Amit Kapoor, Devdas Kondabatini, Sujata, I request all the participants to turn on their device cameras for a screenshot. Let us celebrate the togetherness on this FTP. Well, ma'am, Priya ma'am, should we continue with our vote of thanks?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am, please do the honors.
Thank you, Vani. A very good evening to our respected principal, Director Academics, Dean Accreditation, HOD HNS, distinguished resource persons, esteemed faculty members, and dear participants. As the convener of the Faculty Development Program and head of the Department of English, it gives me immense pleasure to propose a vote of thanks at the valedictory session of this enriching 5-day academic journey. On behalf of the Department of Humanities and Sciences, VJIT Institute of Technology, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all our eminent resource persons. Your inspiring sessions, rich academic insights, and practical demonstrations on AI powered teaching, digital innovation, classroom management, automated assessment, and future ready pedagogical practices have broadened our perspectives and equipped us with valuable tools to transform English language teaching. I express my sincere gratitude to our respected principal, Dean Academics, Director, and the management of VJIT for their constant encouragement, guidance, and unwavering support. Their vision and commitment to academic excellence continue to inspire us to organize meaningful professional development programs. A special word of thanks to all the participants from various institutions who joined us throughout these 5 days. Your enthusiasm, active participation, thoughtful questions, and engaging discussions truly made this FDP a vibrant platform for collaborative learning. I also place on record my sincere appreciation to my colleagues in the Department of English, the organizing committee, our technical support team, and every faculty member who worked tirelessly behind the scenes. Your dedication, teamwork, and meticulous planning ensured the seamless execution of every session. As we conclude this program, I hope the knowledge, ideas, and professional connections we have gained over these 5 days will continue to inspire innovation into our classrooms and strengthen our commitment to preparing future ready learners. Once again, thank you to everyone who contributed to the success of this faculty development program. It has been a privilege to host you all. Thank you and wish you all continued success in your academic and professional endeavors. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, ma'am. And thank you for I thank the participants for their insightful questions and I can say active participation of a few participants. Towards the end, I appreciate any of the participants to share their experience of their in the FDP. Any participant is interested in giving a feedback verbally about their experience of this FDP?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am. I would like to go on. Shall I, ma'am?
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please go on. Thank you.
Very good evening to all. This is Fauziya Begum, Assistant Professor of English from Hyderabad. Ma'am, it was a privilege to participate in this faculty development program for 5 days, ma'am, organized by the Department of English and esteemed organizing team at VJIT. Ma'am, the FDP was served as an intellectually enriching platform that thoughtfully addressed the transformative role of artificial intelligence and digital pedagogy and emerging educational paradigms in the shaping the future of the higher education, ma'am. And the sessions were provided valuable insight. It was totally enriching for me into integrating AI-enabled learning tools, technology-driven instructional strategies, I can say, and learner-centric pedagogical practices that align with the vision of education. Although I was unable to attend the second day's session because of the technical glitches, due to unforeseen technical glitches, The knowledge and the perspective gained from the program were highly inspiring and professionally rewarding, ma'am. Literally, it was an insightful session. For 5 days, I could attend all the sessions as I was at home. So I could gain a lot of knowledge, ma'am. Definitely, I'll be implementing in my classes. Thank you so much once again.
Yeah, that's so adorable, ma'am. Thank you so much. Is there anybody else who is interested in giving their feedback? We welcome you.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
I am Shailaja, madam, from Brindavan Institute of Technology and Science, Karnool, ma'am.
Oh, welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for giving this kind of FTPs, ma'am, for 5 days. I am very happy to be participated in this session, ma'am, because I have never participated in this kind of wonderful sessions. But nowadays, English language teaching is very fascinated for every English teacher because of making the students to be participated in every session, ma'am. Only by the participation of the students only, it is very active. Otherwise, it may be passive, ma'am. So every English class should be like this. I would like to. I'm also having 16 years of experience working in Shandram Engineering College, Nandal, ma'am. But now I have recently joined in Brindavan Institute of Technology. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for all the host conducted this kind of session. I expect more from this college, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable feedback. The feedback form is already posted in the Zoom link, the Zoom meeting room in the chat box. You can just fill in the feedback link. This is the final day, so you just do it as soon as possible. As I told you, the certificates will be available by next week, next Friday. So,
Participants, turn on the video once again, please.
yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Ma'am, could you please once again share the feedback link?
Yeah, it is there in the
Could you-
Zoom chat box, ma'am. It is under the name Kiranmai Prabala.
Feedback link will also be posted in the WhatsApp group. Feedback link, dear participants, feedback link will also be posted in the WhatsApp group today.
Participants, could you please turn on the video once again for the photo?
Dear participants, a humble request to switch on the device cameras. We would like to see you all and take a pic with you all. Even Dr. Sarppa Raje ma'am is also waiting. Dr. Vijay Rekha, Ms. Sujata, Mr. Ramchandra, Dr. Naresh, could you please switch on the cameras? Dr. Amit Kapoor.
Ma'am, my camera is already on.
Dr. Tirupati Patel. Thank you, sir. I request all the participants to switch on the cameras.
Ma'am, today class, please send the PDF, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, please keep the camera on, ma'am, for a screenshot.
Yes, yes.
I request the other participants also to switch on their cameras. Copy, sir.
Shafi
Priya ma'am?
sir.
Yes, madam, I have taken the photos of all. Thank you, participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, shall I wind up the session?
Good evening.
Yes, yes.
Good evening, ma'am. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing team
Thanks a lot.
to pick such a resourceful person. Consciously, you selected a wonderful, resourceful persons, and I have gained a hands-on experience. Every day, I have attended the sessions without missing, and I have noted down the one points also, which I am going to use in my class. Thank you once again to the organizing team. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. That was so encouraging. We would like to come up with more such FDPs and workshops in future with the same patronage. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you all. Keep
Ma'am,
learning. Stay safe. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. This is
Good
Sujata
evening.
from VJIT Engineering College for Women. Apart from all the appreciations, I must really appreciate for all, I mean, the sessions that have come for free. Actually, we didn't pay anything for the sessions, but hopefully to find the sessions completely engaging. And no, we found it well. And all these days, we enjoyed everything like thoroughly. Like, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am, shall we call it a day?
Yes, yes, one. Thank you, all the participants. Once again, thank you.
Dr. Sarppa Raje, ma'am,
so much,
thank you so much for your
Thank you, ma'am.
gracious presence.
Madam, I'm
Thank you
stopping
so
the
much,
video
ma'am.
on YouTube.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Starting this, this Friday's, ma'am. In this YouTube channel, hi, ma'am.
Can you please come again?
Today's I didn't fill the form.
Okay, that would be like 80% is the criteria, ma'am. We will see if it comes into it, then you will get a certificate.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
We are meeting soon again these kind of activities.
Sure, ma'am.
Sir, can you wind up, sir? Shafi, sir?